Hi, this is Dr. Noel Lloyd with 5-Star Management, and I want to welcome you into the Win-Win Associate Development Training Series. This is one of my favorite topics to teach on. Doctor, by choosing this series, I know a few things about you. Number one, that you love chiropractic. Number two, you love your patients. Number three, you love your practice. But number four, your practice has plateaued. In fact, it might have even dropped down a little bit. The facts are you need an associate for some help in your day one and day two, success adjusting patients and what we call overflow. You also want to enjoy your success. You want to take some time to be with your family away from the practice. But your dirty little secret is, as successful as you are, if you head out of the practice for 2 weeks, it could cost you $50,000. And the big hit would be in lost revenue in the clinic. Number three, you also want to be able to make more money in the practice while you're there, and you'd love the clinic to make great money while you're away. That's why there's a need for quality associateships in chiropractic all over the world. Now, coincidentally, there's also a huge need for quality associateships for new grads to come out and get success training, career opportunities. But 85% of chiropractic associateships end on a sour note. It simply does not have to be that way. The reason that I created the Win-Win Associate Development System was so that chiropractor and associate doctor could help more people, could have more fun, and both make a lot more money. In this video course, we'll cover how to prepare right for an associate, your win-win associate vision, also the foundation and the framework for your whole associateship program. Also, the business plan. Most associateships failed because the business failed. And then number three, the prerequisites, the things you need to do to get your house in order to bring an associate in. Next week, we're going to talk about how to hire right, where to place your ad, how to do the interview, the questions to ask, the green lights and the red flags, and how to make your offer in such a way that you're the prize instead of them. Number three, we'll talk about training, how to train your associate to be successful. They didn't learn any of the success things that you've spent $50,000 or $100,000 learning in chiropractic college. So how do we take the knowledge that's in your head and get it in their head in such a way that they become successful next to you? And then number four, we're going to talk about how to launch your associate, how to take your associate into profit first, into bonus second, and how about duplication? If one profitable associate that's a treat to work with is a good idea, maybe two is even a better idea. We'll cover all of this in this series. Now, if you get this wrong, you don't get an associate. You don't get the help that you need, so your practice stays plateaued. You don't get the freedom that you're looking for, and your kids grow up and go off to college in their separate lives without you doing the vacations that you've always dreamed of because you don't have the freedom. You don't get the extra income that you deserve. And if you get the wrong associate, you can lose money, the practice can crash, the associate can actually steal patients and staff, and you could end up hating what you now love. Now, if you get this right, you get an associate, you get the help that you're looking for, and the practice can grow. You get the freedom that you're looking for. You get the extra income that you want. You've got an associate that knows how to get their own new patients. The practice grows. You develop a whole new phase of practice that you like, which is developing associates. So this is what win-win associate development is all about. Let's go inside the 5-Star conference room and let me unpack this for you. So here we are in the 5-Star Management conference room. And today's training is all about preparing right for an associate. If you go on a boat trip, if you go on a ski trip, or if you fly an airplane, and I'm a pilot, I will tell you that preparation is everything. And I've got 2 checklists for you today, and I've got a business plan. Let's dive in. So this is what I call the headspace checklist. Let me start at the top. Number one, the win-win vision of your associate program. How can you build it if you don't know what it looks like? So what we need to do is visualize us winning, and our wins are we get the help, we get the freedom, we get the extra income. How does the associate win? They get a career opportunity, plus they get success training, but there are staff wins, practice wins, patient wins, community wins as well. A strong vision will pull you forward into the type of associateship that you want. Number two, there's what we call the win-win process. There's this who, what, where, when, why, and how. It's like a recipe or a formula for producing great associates. There's the first thing to do, then there's the next thing to do. If you've got this recipe or this formula down correctly, you can take modest resources and turn out great associates. And if you don't know how to do this, you can take a great potential associate and actually ruin that person in the first couple weeks. It's so important. Number 3 is the new patient solution. The number one reason that practices fail is not enough new patients. The number one reason that associate practices fail is that the doctor doesn't succeed because they don't get new patients. There needs to be a new patient solution, and we'll talk about that as we go forward. Number 4 is build what the associate wants. In order to attract good associates, you want to build something that they want. They want to be successful. Imagine this, your kid getting out of chiropractic college. Where would you want them to go? If they're not practicing with you, where else would they go? Into a clinic where somebody would hold them accountable to their best work and train and develop them, somebody who would work with them. So we're going to build what the associate wants. Number 5, protection. Associates graduate close to $200,000 in debt. Your practice is probably worth multiple times that. Now, both people need to be protected by a work agreement, but you need more protection than the associate does. So have a really, really good contract, have it well crafted. We'll talk about that as we go forward as well. No more handshake deals. It's not a handshake process, okay? Number 6, plan on work. And the work of a teacher, the work of a mentor, the work of a discipler. Now, I happen to really like that work, but it's a learned skill process. It's not that I'm doing the work for the associate, but I'm helping them become successful. I find that extremely rewarding. If you learn these skills, you'll be developing associates all of your life, and people will come and knock on your door and ask you to develop them. And you can help a lot of people, you can have a lot of fun, you can make a tremendous amount of money doing exactly that. Number 7 is accountability. One of the things that you need to do is hold your associate accountable. It's always on us to take a look at a mutually attractive and successful future and make the slight corrections necessary to keep things on the road. As you drive down the street in your car, you're always looking out the window, holding your car accountable to your lane, and it's the same process here. So, win-win vision, win-win process, new patient solution, build what they want, build in protection, plan on doing the work. It's the opposite of throwing them against the wall and seeing if they stick, and then providing accountability. So let's talk about your associate business plan. Now, large businesses, when they do something brand new, like open up a subsidiary, or chiropractic offices, when they're first opening, they've got a business plan, right? You take your business plan to the bank wants to make sure that you're going to be successful. This isn't just throw the associate against the wall and hope that they stick. So what are our goals for our associate? So I've got primary income, and I'll explain that in just a second, and I have secondary income. Now, secondary income is the extra money that your practice makes on your patients as a result of having an associate. For instance, your associate can help you with your day 1 and day 2 by doing the consultation, examination, taking the x-rays. They can process your new patient. They can also do overflow adjusting. They can make it possible where you can see more than one new patient in an afternoon if you're in a real busy practice. So that's the extra money that you make as a result of having the associate. But I'm interested in what's called primary money. And by the way, your associate is as well. And let me explain why. So primary income is defined this way. Number 1, the associate goes out into the community and produces the new patient. Number 2, they provide a service on the new patient. And number 3, you collect money on the new patient. Now, these aren't your new patients that they've taken for you. These are new patients that they have done themselves. And all of my associates do that. This is not an impossible thing if it's done right. It's very, very doable. So let's say that you've got an associate who's getting paid $3,000 a month, and you've got a case visit average of 1,000. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that the associate is going to need to bring in and start 3 new patients a month in order for them to just break even. Let's take a look at what that looks like in visits. Let's say that you collect an average of $50 per visit. Your associate is going to need to be able to see 60 visits in order to be able to break even. And if you divide that by 4 weeks, that means 15 visits a week. Now that's our first target. We've got several other targets in our business plan. One is recapturing the money that we've invested in the associate. Another target, which is super important to you and the associate, is to see the associate in bonus. And some associates can actually hit bonus by producing tons of new patients and lots of visits, and they can hit bonus by 1-2 months into practice. So this is your business plan. It gives us targets to shoot for. Now this is what I call getting your house right, or getting your house in order. If you were going to have a big party at the house, you'd get your house all set up, right? And if you're going to have an associate, you've got to get your house set up. And this is your clinic and the way it functions and runs. So let me take you from the top. Number one, streamline your clinic for processing new patients. You should be able to start 2 new patients at the same time. Also, 1 extra adjusting table. That's for your associate. Number 2, don't hurt yourself. And here's what I mean by that. Do not hurt the primary practice. Doctor, your practice is the mothership. If you're seeing 260, 360, whatever your number is, and you're doing that off 3 tables in open concept fed by 6 hot seats, do not give the associate one of those tables. It would just throw a monkey wrench into what already works beautifully. So do nothing to hurt yourself. Number 3, let your associate earn respect. How do they earn it? They earn it by memorizing scripts, by producing new patients, by doing the work that's necessary. Now, I'm not saying that you don't call them doctor, and I'm not saying that you don't give them that type of respect, but they need to build respect with the team by earning it. And I'd let them know that that's what I plan for them to do. Number 4, no private office. It's a mistake to give your associate a private office. The absolute best place for your associate to office is 24 to 36 inches of counter next to your strongest CA with a telephone and a computer there. Number 5, enlist your top CA to help you develop your associate. Now, I have always done this. I've got a top CA in any particular office, and when the new associate comes in, I'm going to explain that Joy or Barb or Mandy has the authority to ask them to not only do work, but also to hold them accountable to scripts and their action steps. I also want to make sure that this CA is giving me good reports and good feedback about the doctor, and it's one of the ways that I can help hold the associate accountable. Don't give away your referrals. Now, I made this mistake early on. I was super busy, hired a couple of associates, brought them in, and I was giving referrals to associates. Well, one guy came into the clinic and he says, "Oh, so you don't have room for my wife in your practice, huh? You gave him to the new guy." The thing that you want to do is use your associates to help process these new patients, but don't give them away. It also teaches that that's how they get new patients, and they don't get new patients that way. They get new patients by what? By earning them. And then number 7, get a marketing CA. It's one of the smartest things in the world. It's the best hire in all of chiropractic, is somebody who takes your message and your marketing into the community. And imagine this, is that they're producing all these new patient opportunities. You can plug your associate into this program that your marketing CA builds. Now, that's one of the things that we do at the New Patient Academy, and that's the little URL that you're reading down there. So if you want to get a marketing CA, you can call the New Patient Academy or get some information on that. Now, if you do this right here, you'll be ready for an associate, and it'll be a nice, pleasant addition to your practice instead of a shock. So, I'm excited to tell you what this looks like in real life. Dr. Stan Dombrowski, a 5-star management client who we helped in this process, number 1, got the 7 concepts that he needed to square his head away. Number 2, built a business plan working from the money backwards. And then number 3, got his house in order before he brought in his first associate. Now that's Dr. Paul. Dr. Paul regularly sees 160 plus patient visits a week from new patients that he generates. His second associate, who's Dr. Rachel, came in as an intern first. After she got her license, she took off like a rocket. In the first 6 weeks, she was generating 90 visits a week from her own new patients that she went out into the community and got. That means that she built a mature practice in less than 2 months, was literally profitable in the very, very first month. I think that's exciting. So why do I tell you Stan's story? I want you to know that this isn't just theory. But let's not talk about Stan, let's talk about you. How much better would your associateships be if you, number one, got rid of the misconceptions and got your head straight? Number two, worked backwards from the money in a solid business plan. And number three, you got your house in order to receive the associate in the right way. Now, what I want you to do is to leave me a comment. Tell me why you want to get your head right, your business right, and get your house right, instead of acting on impulse, taking an expensive gamble, and number three, just making it up as you go along. So leave me a comment below and let me know why that's important to you. So super, in the next video we're going to talk about how to hire right, where to find the best prospects, how to do the interview process, picking the winners from the losers, and we're going to talk about your contract, how to frame the relationship, number one, and make sure that you protect yourself. Say, I wish that we had more time to talk about preparing for an associate. I love the 7 prereqs. I think it's so important to get those right. I love the business plan part, because if your business plan is solid, your associateship will be solid. And I love getting your house correct so that you can receive an associate, so it's a welcome addition to your new team and there's no disruptions. Now, if you want some help with that, if you want to get all the prep work behind you in one weekend. Number two, if you want to work through a solid business plan so that you know that it's going to work for you. And then number three, if you want to workshop through with other doctors on how to prepare your house right, then you need to come and be with us at Win-Win Associate Development in Las Vegas, November 8 and 9. Now there's a registration button below. I want you to check and see if there are seats available. I want you to register, come and be with us. It's a tremendous seminar, a great learning experience, and it can mean the difference between having a wonderful, successful associate program or not. So, hope to see you there. Looking forward to you in the next video, by the way.